do the cash walk, do the cash walk. Hey, I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your
The Minor Details. We are on episode 20 already. And folks, we have a controversial case to give you today. Kyle Rittenhouse. Folks, we are going to get comments galore. And I want to introduce my co-host for the last 20 weeks, Pete Pitts, 108 TV shows, The Walking Dead series. I met him on the movie set when we were filming a movie. Pete Pitts, welcome, Pete Pitts.
Thank you, Danny Miner, the crime solver. It's an honor to be here as always. But I got to ask really quick, who is this, Danny? Who's this extra host?
Who is that girl? Did she just come on here? What? All right, Pete. I think I recognize her, Pete.
What?
Now, she was one of my followers on TikTok for about a year, okay? She came on my live once because I was doing cyber sleuths, and she thought I didn't know what I was doing, so she helped me moderate or monitor or whatever the hell she calls it. But she is known through the true crime community on TikTok, on Instagram. She helps every true crime content creator. I want to welcome, and she's like Madonna. She just goes by one name. Her name is Angela. That's it. She's a one-name person. It's like Prince. Welcome, Angela. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm Angela, also known as Angela. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Angela, so what got you interested in true crime? And thank you. We wanted a female voice on here, so thanks for taking the invitation.
Honestly, I would say I've always kind of been interested in true crime, but
Okay.
What got me on TikTok was actually Gabby Petito, and then also the Idaho 4 case.
The Idaho 4 case. And the Idaho 4 case, that's when I actually met you on my live when I did the show Cyber Sleuths. And then I was promoting the show on TikTok, and then you came on my live, and you definitely thought I needed help. So that's why you came on my live. And let me tell you folks out there, Angela has done a lot for my TikTok. She actually gave me the case that went to 6.2 million, my biggest video. She actually gave me that case. So she definitely helped me. And she didn't just help me. There's so many true crime content creators that she's helped. You really did, Angela.
Can I just say one thing? I got him over 100,000 followers. I helped with that significantly within 1 year, easily. And he looked like a lost dad when I found him on TikTok. So there was over 1,000 people in his chat. And I was like, do you need a moderator? I don't even know if he knew what that was. He calls it a monitor. So we'll just leave it right there.
Hey, welcome, Dan. Dan Newburn is in the comments. Dan is missing in the USA on TikTok. This man deserves so much credit. He dedicates his life to missing children and missing people. We love you, Dan. Welcome to the podcast.
Dan's good people.
Yes.
Welcome, Dan. Thank you. I want to also welcome all of our listeners and viewers that are watching live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Minor Details Facebook group. And Angela, we're so glad you're here as a special guest host. How are you feeling today, by the way, Angela?
You know, I feel a little kind of like naked in a way because I wanted to come in with a tinfoil hat. So I might do that another day and just, we'll see what happens.
Next time.
And listen, and Pete, I just want to say, I want to thank Angela because she wasn't prepared for this week. You know, her mic didn't come in, her headset, her sound thing, but she still wanted to do the podcast today. So next week we'll be all set. But thank you, Angela. I convinced you still to do it.
He did. He's a very good convincer.
So let's get on. Let's get on to the details. Go ahead, Pete. Start us off.
Minor Details, where we talk true crime, news, entertainment, and a little bit of paranormal and more. And today we have some weekly highlights. First of all, I just wanted to talk about what's going on in the news this week. Karen Read trial. Karen Read, verdict is in. The judge and the jury say not guilty. Danny, Angela, how does that make you all feel? Danny, you go first. Let's hear from
All right,
Dan.
I'm going to go first. I'm going to take heat on this because I said she was guilty the entire time. And honestly, Pete, I've lost probably 2,000 followers on this Karen Reed case. At least 2,000. I was watching my followers leave me because of Karen Reed, okay? But I'm going to tell you this. Did the jury do the right thing? Yes. The evidence that was presented to the jury, they did the right thing. The prosecution put on a bad case. The cops screwed up. I still think she's guilty, in my opinion, but the jury did the right thing because the evidence that was presented to them was reasonable doubt. So her being not guilty, I agree with the jury.
Well,
Oh,
what do
you
you-
want me to say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I actually 100% agree with Danny. I was thinking the same thing the whole time, that she was guilty. And I already knew that she was going to be found not guilty. So the cops did mess up. They messed up. So, I mean,
Did you think she was guilty though, Angela? Like
yeah,
keeping
the
your
whole
heart?
time. And you know what I noticed when Danny started losing all of his followers? Like, let's all be like real here. When he started losing that, he was complaining about it, you know, on one of his rants, like off screen, which are actually a little bit longer, just so in case anyone wants to know. But I noticed that he started using hashtag Karen Reed is innocent. Because he lost so many followers. And then his followers, like that follow me, they would message me and be like, "Oh, did you hear this about Karen Reed? Did you hear this?" And I'm just like laughing. I'm like, listen, I know she's gonna be, you know, the verdict's gonna be not guilty. I know that she's guilty, but like they were just laughing because I think they were noticing the hashtags as well. If not, I pointed them out. Sorry, I said what I said.
And we definitely have a person online here that thinks Karen Reed's guilty. This person says, crock of crap. She's guilty.
Yes. Also, Ashley in the comments thinks Karen Reed is guilty. If you go back and listen to one of our previous episodes, Danny and I do a whole episode on Karen Reed. And during that episode, I expressed that I thought there wasn't enough evidence to prove she's guilty. And that's what manifested. That's what happened. But do I think she is? It's still pretty suspicious. I'll say that.
I agree.
She's sus, very sus.
I think it was an accident, you know, and then she just kind of, oh, that didn't happen.
It's wild. Let's move on to one more thing Danny and I did this week. Danny and I were special guests on the Problem Solver podcast, weren't we, Danny?
Yes, we were guests on the Problem Solver podcast, and Pete was out of control. He was threatening the president of Russia. I had to calm Pete down. He was threatening the president of Russia.
Someone was. Yeah, someone was. You'll have to watch that episode. Oh my gosh, we might be in trouble. We might all be in trouble here. That's all I can say.
Let's just say I went off a couple times. I went off a couple times on the podcast.
That's pretty normal, though. Where can we find this? Where can we watch it?
I don't know. He's very slow. The Problem Solver, like he records something and then he puts it out 2 months later. So I'm going to get on him. He said he was watching tonight. So let's get that podcast going.
So who is the problem solver? Can you give us like a little rundown?
Dave Komeyer, he's a retired cop out here in Las Vegas. I met him. We were salespeople together, and we were the two top salespeople in our department. And we decided to form a team together, and we started doing the Problem Solver podcast. Well, he started first, then invited me, and we went viral at least 3 times on that podcast. So he's still doing it.
Awesome.
He's a good interviewer. Yeah, he was a very smart guy. It was a good show, but I do expect it's going to be a little while before we see it. Hopefully soon, Danny.
Do they have to like bleep a lot of stuff out? Like, were you guys like really swearing and stuff? Like,
I was. Did you ever see Pete swear? Pete don't swear. It's only me. He's the nice guy.
You never know. I try to control my words, but sometimes we all lose control, don't we? You know, we all do our best. But
yeah,
you know, Danny, he was instigating you. He was riling you up on the show.
He knows how to fire me up. He knows how to ask me questions. But I'll be honest with you. He was calling Pete liberal progressive guy. He thought Pete was a liberal progressive.
The very
That's
first,
funny.
yes, the first thing that I said, well, I think there's still hope. I think we still have hope. He's like, hope? Oh, no, you sound like a liberal. He's like, oh. I was like, well, hold on. I said hope, but plus action. I said, you have hope, but you're also working towards it. He's like, oh, you're a progressive liberal. So I was like, I guess. I was like, I don't put a label on it, but hey, it was a fun time. Stay tuned for the Problem Solver podcast with Danny and I. I want to jump into some entertainment news really quick. Danny mentioned again that he just saw the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. I'm so excited about that. What do you think, Danny?
Listen, I saw the trailer for Happy Gilmore, but I'm going to be honest with you. Like when I see like Adam Sandler now, he's old. And that makes me know I'm old. Like when I saw it, I'm thinking, he's old. I don't want him to be old. It was like when I saw Tom Cruise again, in the Air Force movie there. I can't think of it right offhand, but they're old now. And I know I'm old, but it's scary.
So, Angela, what do you think? What do you think about the new Happy Gilmore movie? Are you going to see it, and will you support it?
I'm going to see it, but I think it's going to suck really bad. I think they should have done one immediately after the first one. It's one of those movies. I mean, Chubbs, like, he's not around. The alligator recently just died, like a few months back. I think Danny did a video on it, didn't he?
Yes, the alligator died. Yes.
I forgot his name, but, and Chubbs isn't there. It's not the same. Like, everyone's just old.
Apollo Creed's not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just everyone's old now or they're dead. So it's like, what can you do with that?
But I think Apollo Creed's son is in this. So him with the hand, I think his son's in this one.
Did they use the same hand?
I guess. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Anything else in that spotlight, Pete, or no?
Yeah. So one more thing for entertainment. I just wanted to mention really quick, Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people have never been here. They have preconceived notions, but we have so much more than just casinos here. We have live entertainment, concerts, magic shows. We now have NBA coming. We have MLB. So, Danny, what do you think about Vegas as an entertainment hub?
I think we're looking at, people are saying this, but I think Vegas within the next 5 years is the new LA. Would you agree?
It's very likely.
I think it's definitely the new LA. I think that we're getting every sports team, right? We're going to get Hollywood studios here, which I know we are sooner or later. I just think you're looking at the new Los Angeles there. I think we're going to double in size over the next 10 years.
It's looking like it. What do you think, Angela? Have you been to Vegas? What do you think?
Yes, I've been to Vegas. I think that, what I heard actually was that, now I don't know if this is legit, but allegedly, Disneyland is supposedly moving to Las Vegas.
I did hear a rumor, but that might be a rumor. Universal did move here now.
That's what I heard. Taxes. Because of the taxes going up, I guess, in California, I heard that they're moving the Universal studios or Disneyland over to Vegas now. That's the plan is what I heard, but I don't know. And, it's weird because children go missing at those places. So I'm not a big fan. I was when I was younger, before I knew all this, before I started watching, true crime and stuff like that, unsolved mysteries, where they just don't wait to go to sleep at night. And then, that's what happens.
Well, I did hear that, but I think that's a rumor. Universal definitely is putting a park here. Definitely. That's for sure. It's actually opening next month in August. It's opening August 11th.
They're also making a train too, which I forgot what year it's coming. The train's going to be going from LA and then right into Las Vegas. Yeah,
it's going to be one of them fast trains, like a half hour to California from Vegas. And then you're going to be a half hour from California. It's going to be awesome. You'll be at the beach in a half hour if you live in Vegas.
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind everyone, Vegas is the entertainment capital for a lot of reasons. It's amazing. As we're moving on in time, I want to give Danny the opportunity. Danny, this week, do you want to do a minor rant or a minor minute? I know you like to rant sometimes.
Listen, it's the same rant, but I have to do it. And let me tell you why. I was leaving Lake Mead the other day. And if you leave Lake Mead, it's a one road. I mean, it's just one lane out of here. So you get these big ass trucks again on my ass. Okay. Now, this guy, I wanted to take a picture of it for the podcast. This guy had such big tires on his truck that he could have ran my car over. Now, I want to talk to the government officials, Congress, Department of Transportation. Why the fuck do we let these guys put these big tires on their car? Why? It makes no sense. Okay? It's just their ego. Look at me. I'm driving a big truck. I'm going to tail Danny on the way out of Lake Mead because I'm so cool. And then, Pete, they want to blast their music in this big truck and they want to rev their engine. To them guys out there, I used to rev my engine when I was 10 on my big wheel. I am now 50-something. I don't have to rev my engine. We're sick of ya. Take your big truck and shove it up your ass. We're done with it.
Oh, man. Angela, I hope you don't drive a big truck, do you?
No, but I do need an SUV moving forward from a car. But I will say this, there are tractors out here where I live in the middle, like kind of like it's the suburbs of Chicago. There's cornfields, tractors. These tractors, it's one lane, remind you, down these like big hilly, windy roads, side roads. And they're so tall with big wheels that they can literally like you could probably drive under there if you have a car. I don't advise it. I don't. So nobody drive under a tractor. I'm just saying they have really like big tires and they're really tall and like you can't even pass them half the time. There's like cars coming the other way. Like you'll literally be late for everything.
Wow.
No joke. You won't be able to pass them because then you can't see over the hill.
That's
so
wild.
We need to
Yeah.
do something about that.
Hey, Pete, real quick before we get into the rest of the show and our main topic, the Rittenhouse case, somebody's asking what NBA team. Right now, there's two rumors. LeBron wants to buy a team. Okay, so LeBron wants to retire, buy a team, and bring it to Vegas. They want to put the stadium on the Blue Diamond, so it'll be a little away from the Strip. And then Mayweather also said he wants to buy the team. So we have two people right now. Mayweather, we got LeBron James, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Vegas is now becoming the sports and entertainment capital of the world. It's going to happen.
It's only a smart move strategically for the NBA. So it's in the verbal stages, but yes, I believe it'll be concrete soon. So, hey, great question, though. Thanks for tuning in. As we're moving right along, we like to do a missing person segment before we jump into our main case, which we're going to get into Kyle Rittenhouse in just a moment. But really quick, Danny and I wanted to bring everyone's attention to 3 missing people that are at the top of the FBI most sought after missing and kidnapped list. Danny, do you want to do the first person? Do you want to start with Donita?
Yeah. So we got and folks, listen, we do this every week, and it's shocking. If you would see what we're looking at right now, me and Pete put up the kidnapped missing people, and it's probably 98 women and 2 men. Am I right, Pete?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
it just goes showing that how many women get abducted and kidnapped. It's crazy. Danita Wilkerson, she is missing, folks, from Indiana. Her birth date is March 14th, 1976. Her hair is black. Her eyes are brown. She's African American. She's 5'3", 145 pounds. She has multiple tattoos, folks. She was last seen June 21st, 2020 at 8:16 p.m. from Evansville, Indiana, at a motel she was at.
Wow, so tragic. So if you see something, say something. If you saw something back then and you remember something, please report it. The second missing person comes from Connecticut. This is Kristen Modafferi. Kristen Modafferi went missing all the way back in 1997, June 23rd, from the coffee shop where she was working. Actually, was the last place she was seen, was at work. This was in San Francisco, California, at the Crocker Galleria Mall. She was a white female, 140 pounds, brown hair, 5'6". So if anyone saw anything in the San Francisco area, I first said Connecticut. She was born in Connecticut, but went missing in California. So if you're in the San Francisco or Bay Area around 97 and remember seeing anything, please say something. Danny, do you have our third missing person?
Yeah, and folks, you got to realize this is the only way to find these people. Okay, this is it. Now, they're put in the computer system at the police department and all that, and if cops run into them, they could find them. But honestly, folks, it's you that's going to solve it. It's people out there that's going to see it and solve it. My next one is Sarah Nicole Graham. She is missing from February 4th, 2015 from North Carolina, folks. And I'm telling you, they have a $5,000 reward for any information on her. So she actually has a reward. She has short hair, glasses, and she has braces. She was last seen wearing a blue Walmart vest. So I'm assuming she was working there. Graham left her home in North Carolina at 6:30 a.m. on February 4th to go to work, and she was never seen again.
It's terrible, tragic. So if you see anything or if you saw anything, please report whatever you saw and check our Minor Details Facebook group for updates as well as all the lists of these ladies and gentlemen, everyone. But it is, sadly, it's a lot more females who come up missing, a lot more females on that list and very few males. But the point is we have to do something about it. Danny and I and Angela are not going to tolerate this anymore. So are y'all ready to jump into the case?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse. What do you all think? Let's start with you, Angela. I want to just start with your first impression. A lot of people know this case. Some people don't. We'll go through the case. But Angela, what's your first impression when you hear the name Kyle Rittenhouse? What do you think of?
A child with an assault rifle.
Seems like a fair depiction of him, doesn't it? Danny,
Is it
what
true
about?
that he's from Antioch, Illinois?
Oh, before Wisconsin, I didn't realize he was from Antioch. That's right.
That's actually out by me. So
Danny, what do you think? The first thing you think of when you hear the name Kyle Rittenhouse?
Would I be wrong if I said hero?
Hey, that's why I asked, because we all have different opinions.
Would you guys expect anything different from me? Would you expect anything different? I'm not going to say the man who's a hero, but when I think of him, I think of self-defense because I believe it was a self-defense case.
So, for anyone who doesn't know the case, as we're all expressing our opinions freely, and we encourage freedom of expression here on the Minor Details, this is a show where everyone has a voice. Every opinion matters. Even if we don't all agree, we still want to hear what people think. We want to talk about it. So, Kyle Rittenhouse was born in 2003. He's a young American man who made big news in Kenosha, Wisconsin, back in August 2020 when he attended protests. Police protests were going on, protests against the police after they had fatally shot a young man named Jacob Blake. And during that time, Kyle armed himself and he took his Smith & Wesson AR-15 style rifle with him to the streets of Kenosha, Wisconsin. This was during a curfew, actually, when he was not supposed to be out there. But he said, hey, I'm going to go out anyway, and I'm going to protect these local businesses. That's what he said he went to do. At the end of the night, he ended up shooting 3 people. So that's the long story short. He says he shot them in self-defense. We can talk about each shooting incident one by one, but that already leaves Danny with one impression. You think he's a hero, and Angela says child with a gun, right?
not just a gun and a cell.
Listen, McBlue brought up a good point. It was self-defense, but he shouldn't have been there in the first place. And I think I agree with McBlue. So I know you guys were thinking that I was going to say, no, he had every right to be there. I agree. He shouldn't have been there. His parents should have stopped him. He was 17 years old. He had a gun. He shouldn't have been there. But I still think it was self-defense. Just because he shouldn't be there doesn't mean he should have been killed.
So one interesting question, you just brought it up, actually. He shouldn't have been there because, yeah, there was a curfew, and technically he wasn't really supposed to be there. But also, he wasn't legally allowed in America to own that firearm. He was only 17. You're supposed to be 18. And so that's another question. Is it legal or is it right to take someone's life in self-defense if it's a gun that you're not even legally allowed to have? That's an interesting question, right? What do you think, Danny, as a former law enforcement officer?
Say that one more time, Pete, about the gun. I didn't get that.
Is it legal or is it right to take someone's life with a gun that you're not legally allowed to possess?
Self-defense either way.
I think it's self-defense either way. I think Angela's right. If somebody's coming after you and you grab a bat, a knife, and you kill them, it's the same thing.
And run them down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do what you got to do, even if I was 15 with no license, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. So it don't matter if he was legally have that weapon. That's another case. He still was justified in shooting these kids because we seen what happened in Los Angeles. Now, Angela's young. She probably don't remember, but I think it was like 1991, the LA riots. I mean, it was insane. They pulled the guy out of the car and they beat him with a rock over the head. So what do you think they would have did to Kyle? If Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do what he did, he'd be fucking dead. And that's the fact of the matter. And that's why it's self-defense. I said what I said.
So for a lot of people, for anyone out there who doesn't know the full case or has not seen the videos and heard the full story, basically Kyle had his rifle with him. So already by being there, as McBlue makes a great point, he's there presently. So should he have been there or not? That's a different question. But now that he's there, he's a show of force because like a police officer with a uniform and a badge and a gun, that's a show of force, as Danny taught us in a previous episode, but also a civilian, a human with a gun. Doesn't matter who it is. And I see a person with a gun, my sense of awareness is heightened. My sense of security is suddenly like, whoa, they've got a gun. So, you know, and then he's a teenager on top of that. A lot of people probably looked at him and they just saw a young man, young kid or whatever, or they might have thought he was 21, who knows? But the point is, he's showing force by holding the gun. So he's already making a statement by being there of saying, hey, I'm an intimidating force. What do you guys think about that? Angela, do you want to start first?
Sure. I mean, honestly, like I think maybe he was just trying to stop people from looting, because isn't that what they were doing, was looting?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what his allegation was, that he was intending to protect businesses.
You know what though? I mean, it is kind of a statement though when you're walking around like that, but it's kind of like don't mess with me or don't mess with things around me. I see it as, because it's not like he killed anyone else, right? It was just the people that were coming at him.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Correct.
and honestly, like I don't know what the laws are in Wisconsin, but I know Illinois and Wisconsin, they're touching basically. I'm like 30 minutes from Wisconsin, let's say. And so, I mean, we're all like hunters, like out there in Wisconsin, over here in Illinois, there's like a lot of hunting going on. And I think like, I know, you know, an assault rifle is different, but I mean, I'm sure they just kind of looked past it, you know, with the whole owning a gun, or not owning a gun. Didn't he get it from one of his friends or something? But I mean, you got to think about it. Like all these people with guns that commit these crimes, more than half of them, like they aren't the gun owners and they didn't buy it from anywhere. They got it illegally. So, you know, I think that, is it true that he was at a bar like a week later bragging about it? But like, why is there a 17-year-old at a bar? Like, I mean, I just got some questions. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, great questions. Great questions. Let's go to Danny. Danny, what do you think about that? Is him being there a show of force? Do you think he instigated this? And do you think he kind of intimidated the locals around there who might be protesting? And then these people see him as a guy with an assault rifle and they got more defensive and tried to attack him. Whereas if he wasn't harnessing that rifle, like maybe he's armed, but maybe he has it like on his side or something. I just feel like he was making a statement.
I agree he was making a statement. I'm not going to sit there and tell you he wasn't. I'm not one of them Republicans to make every excuse. He was wrong for bringing that gun. His parents were wrong for letting him go. What mother and father would let their kid go to a riot? Because we call them protests. They're not protests. They're riots. No matter what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tell us, they're riots. They're not protests, okay? And they're not peaceful by any means, okay? We know that. We're not stupid, okay? So as a parent, I would have stopped him from doing that. Because you're looking for trouble. I agree with you, Pete. He went there looking for trouble, and he found it, is what happened. And I agree to that. He went looking for trouble, and he found it.
Yeah, McBlue has an interesting statement. If he had stayed home that day, would those 3 people still be alive? That's a great question. I mean, someone have taken
I got a question, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question would be to McBlue, if 3 people didn't attack him, they would be alive. But they decided to attack him. They decided to attack a guy with a gun. What dumbasses do that? Okay? They wanted to show their point. They thought that 17-year-old wouldn't fight back. They were wrong. And they were wrong with their life. So my question is, yeah, they'd be alive, but if they didn't attack him, they'd be alive too. And that's why it's self-defense.
I don't know if they'd be alive. Because, I mean, what if they went and attacked somebody else and they also had a gun? Maybe it wasn't an assault rifle, but they could have just had a gun.
And let me tell you this. These people, take a look at these people's backgrounds that he killed. Okay? They have criminal backgrounds. This wasn't, Joe Schmo, taking the day off from work to protest. This was criminal looking to hurt people at a protest. I said what I said.
Breaking into stores, probably like stealing stuff. They were there for a reason. So whatever happened to them, that's it. Like it should have happened, like how it happened. And I don't know. Yeah. I'm glad they're not alive. I said what I said. I don't care.
Well, I'm going to say that McBlue has another good statement. He's not saying that they weren't wrong also. So there was wrong definitely on multiple sides of this. And who can really accurately predict what would have happened? But I think the chances are things would have been much different if he had not been there. They could have been much different. You're right. Those people could have found another victim. And I'm not pro Kyle. I'm not condemning him. I'm not saying I'm not calling him hero, or I'm not calling him villain either at this point. I just want to talk about what his actions were, and then we'll talk about it on the show at the end of the episode. We can all kind of go over what we think really quick. But I do want to say the first person that lunged after Kyle to try to get the rifle, that person had recently attempted suicide and was just checked out of a hospital, apparently. And also, like Danny said, had a background. So this is someone who probably was like already maybe mentally challenged, maybe had troubles, maybe he was like looking for trouble. So was he already a bad character? Maybe. But however, if Kyle hadn't been there, would he have found another victim? That's the question, right? Who knows for sure?
I got a question for you two. Angela, you could go first, okay? And I want everybody's honest opinion. If Kyle Rittenhouse didn't do what he did and they caught him, what would have happened to him?
Wait, if they would have caught Kyle?
If he didn't have a gun and they were chasing him and he didn't shoot them, what would have happened to him?
They would have killed him.
Thank you.
He's
He'd have
a
been
hero.
beat
He
to
did
death.
the world a favor. He literally did the cops' jobs for them. Like the police, he helped out law enforcement and just took them down. Like he was those people were gonna commit more crimes, and they would have created more work and done more damage to this country. What else more damage can you do? You know what I mean? At this point.
I totally agree. Kyle Rittenhouse, and that's the point. And I'm glad you said that. He would have been murdered. Pete, do you agree?
I think they would have either taken his life or brought him very close to the brink of it. They might have just really beat him down, but yeah, they would have definitely punished him severely, probably. But that goes to, I think, what was their intention? Who were these people? And that's another question. Who were the people out here in this group? Well, McBlue made another comment. He's on fire today with the comments. It was a riot, not a protest, he says. So that's a very interesting separate topic that we can talk about and discuss. Rioters versus protesters. Some people might have been there just for a peaceful mentality. And then other people are there, obviously, because they want to cause destruction. They want to cause violence. So it's probably pretty clear that the people who attacked Kyle were probably the rioters, not the peaceful-minded people. Wouldn't you guys think so?
I think that when you're going to a protest, I just consider it a riot personally, because I don't ever see them being peaceful at all. Like, I mean, I've seen some people on the side of the road, I'll give them a honk, like, go you guys for standing there. Like, just don't get hit, or, try to warn the other driver so they don't hit somebody and have to like pay 14 grand or whatever it is, unless they're a construction worker. I don't know. All I'm saying is like, it's rarely ever peaceful. And the other, the protesters too, like usually see them like on the side of the corner, I feel like at a stoplight, opposed to like being in a big, large area. But unless you're in a big city, so I guess it's different. But you got to know, like, shit's gonna break out there, like no matter what. Just always have to think in the back of your head that shit is gonna go wrong. Like, you should always think like that no matter what.
Listen, guys, I've been in a riot. I was in a riot for 3 days. People throwing bricks at me, people trying to hurt me, people with their camera right in my face. I dealt with these people. These people are the dregs of society. They have nothing to do with their life but interrupt everybody else's life. Their life sucks, so they come out and protest. I'm sorry, I said what I said. I don't respect these people one bit. When has a protest ever changed anything? It never has. And when is a protest just a protest? It never has. It turns into a riot. I said what I said. It's dumb, and these people are the dregs of society. I said it. I'm sorry, I said it.
Danny, didn't you have to wear a gas mask before?
I have a gas mask.
Didn't you have to wear one before and you like barely got it on in time?
Yes, I told that story.
Did you ever tell the bus story? No.
I think it's a really interesting idea to imagine if that did work, for example, because we know that we hear about it from time to time. We hear about strikes, right? You hear about labor union strikes. You hear about protests outside businesses, or, you hear about sometimes these events that are not intertwined with destruction. But recently, in the past 5 years, it's pretty much been synonymous. You hear protests, and it pretty much has been the same description as a riot.
See, but here's the thing, like McBlue just said, and McBlue's really into this. Listen, Dave called the wrong person the progressive liberal. We found our progressive liberal. His name is McBlue, okay? I didn't know he's older than me and he's a progressive liberal. It's shocking to me. McBlue, we just had beers together. I'm just kidding you. But him saying Danny hates the First Amendment. No, you have every right to protest. But when you start destructing property and you're burning people's cars and you're not letting people go to work, you're not letting people go through the door to their work. They're blocking people's way to go to work. I'm telling you right now, you block my way to get into my work, I'm going to jail that day. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to jail. You're not going to block me from going through my fucking door to work. And I've seen people do it. I'm telling you, I'm going to jail if you do it to me. I'm going to jail. So
Danny, have
guess
you ever
what?
done
Danny's
that?
no progressive liberal.
Danny,
that's-
have you ever done that?
Have you
What?
done it?
What?
Have you had to go through a person before?
No.
No, not yet. Okay.
No,
What-
nobody ever blocked me on my way to work. But if they do, I'm going to jail. I'm telling
Okay. I'm curious what Angela has to say and everyone in the comments. So if someone's blocking my way to work, and if it's a job I didn't really care about, like before the film industry, I'm taking the day off personally. But if they're blocking my way to the film industry and it's a job I love, yeah, I'm going to try to go through them. What about you though, Angela? How are you going to react if someone's blocking your path to a job that you love?
Oh, that I love? I'd probably blast the music and then somehow find a megaphone and say, get the fuck out of my way or you're going to get run down.
And then what-
you know,
what-
they're in the way. You got to take them down. They're like those little cones, they're like the construction cones that you see. And I mean, if they're in the way, like somebody knocked them in the way, they're in the way. You just got
So you're gonna plow through them. You and Danny are plowing through those people.
All right, that's a good question.
There, they're in the wrong.
Okay, Pete, that's a great question. I'm glad you said that. Let's put this out to the crowd and we'll put it to Angela. Me and Pete answered it on the Problem Solver podcast. Okay, let me put you all in this situation. You're driving down the road. It's 10 o'clock at night. You have your wife in the car, okay? All of a sudden, these protesters start surrounding you, beating on your window, trying to open your doors. What are you doing? McBlue, answer that one. What are you doing, McBlue? What's progressive McBlue doing? They're banging on your window. They're trying to get your wife out of the car. They're smashing your car. What are you doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm going to jail. I said that already. I'm going to jail. What are you doing, Angela?
Well, first, you got to be a gentleman about it. You got to tell your wife to close her eyes, and then you got to put your arm in front of her, kind of hold her back, so that she stays put when you run all these fucking people over. It's a bunch of bumps. It's going to get bumpy. You got to let her know ahead of time. Be like, babe, it's about to get bumpy. Just heads up, close your eyes. We're good. Put on your favorite song, and then just go.
I'll tell you what. They just arrested a guy for running people over. He's going to get off. They were banging on his car. They were trying to get him out of the car. And he ran them the fuck over. Listen, liberals, let me give you a hint. Don't stand in front of a moving car, you dumbasses. Okay? Don't stand in front of a moving car. Dumb asses. I said what I said.
Maybe they probably missed driver's ed. They probably just passed because, maybe, I don't know.
You're right. I think that's so similar to what we're talking about in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. You don't jump in front of a moving car. You don't try to stop a moving car. And also, you don't lunge at someone or attack someone with a semi-automatic rifle in their hand. So, of course, those people were risking their lives when they did that. Whether or not Kyle was wrong in doing that, he was defending his own life in those moments. Of course he was.
Guys, I just want to tell you a video I seen. I seen this progressive liberal woman, and how do I know that? Well, she looked like she just came out of Dancing with the Oldies by Richard Simmons, and she had pink hair. So I know it was a progressive woman. Okay, she just got out of that. She just got out of aerobic instruction. And she's standing at the car that's going 5 miles an hour trying to push it back. And I'm thinking, what do you think's going to happen to you? You are going to get run over, you dumbass. Okay? Did the hair dye give you brain damage? What would make you stand in front of that car? What would make you do that? Okay? Go to Richard Simmons Dancing with the Oldies and have a good night. All right? I'm done with it.
I mean, I kind of liked Richard Simmons,
He was a classic, yeah.
He was classic. I mean, and I really do think
I
that
loved Richard. He was on General Hospital.
Oh, God. You and your
He
general.
was. He started on General Hospital, I believe.
Did he really?
I think he did. We got to look that up. I think he did.
Pete? Google Pete?
I could be wrong.
I want to know. I think he's
I
probably
love
wrong.
Richard Simmons, by the way. But he used to have this tape called Dancing with the Oldies. And,
Danny used to dance to it? Yeah.
I was a little overweight, so I danced to the oldies to lose some weight. Don't judge me. I danced to the oldies.
Did it too, yeah. And
Oh,
he
God.
was on General Hospital, Danny. You're absolutely right. From
What?
1980
1980 what?
79 to 82.
Yeah, that's where he got his start.
I
Yeah.
wasn't even born yet, so we're good.
I like Richard Simmons, though. So I'm not picking on him at all.
No, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I watched Sweating to the Oldies. I'm not gonna July. So
Didn't he die?
Yeah.
Rest in
Oh,
peace.
is that what it was called? Sweating to the oldies. All right,
But-
sweating
That's
to the
what it
oldies.
was.
I got it
Sweating to
wrong.
the oldies.
I thought
Yeah.
it was dancing to the oldies. Okay, I got it wrong.
Because Danny wouldn't sweat, so he didn't work out hard enough.
that's okay. He tried. He showed up. That matters. Give you an
He brought
A
a
for-
head bandwidth, so he's good.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Absolutely, yes. So let's take it back to our main case today, and I want to ask everyone who's listening, watching, what do you guys think? Because Angela and Danny, they both made their opinions clear. They're running people over. They're protesting. And what do you guys think about Kyle particularly? Because, I still don't have a definite opinion on him, but I do think he set himself up and put himself in the position to cause and instigate the events that happen. But then when they're happening, yes, he was being defensive at the moment, of course. He was protecting his own life. But did he set himself up there? Was he kind of asking for it? I think so. I think he was kind of asking for that. What do you
I agree. I agree he put himself in a bad position. I'll be the first to admit to that. But I think the jury got it right. I watched the jury's decision. Did you watch when the jury found him not guilty? I gotta admit, it put tears in my eyes. That kid cried. His sister cried. His mother cried. That kid was looking at life in prison, man, at 17 years old. I was happy for the kid. I'll be honest with you. I was happy for him.
Yeah, and what's interesting to notice is something that Angela briefly mentioned earlier. There were reports that not only was he in a bar later celebrating, there were also reports, and you guys tell me if you heard this or not, if it's true. There were allegations that he was in the bar flashing white hand signs.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You cut out, Pete.
Allegedly, he was flashing white power or white supremacist signs, like hand signs of some kind of hand movement. Did you
I
guys?
have to see bar footage. I didn't see anything like that. But
I didn't see that either. I think Don Lemon probably put that out from CNN. All right. I mean, let's be honest. CNN and MSNBC throw some bullshit stories out there. I want to
wait.
see proof of that.
Does Don Lemon follow you now, Danny?
Don Lemon does follow me. Sorry, Don. I was just kidding. It wasn't you. I was just kidding.
But it was your coworkers, Don. Shame on them.
Yes.
Shame on all of them. Wow.
I cannot wait for the day for Chris Cuomo to follow Danny.
I know. I think me and Chris would get along. He has some different ideas than me, but I think we get along.
He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, and he's Italian, right? So, Pete, now you got two Italians on the podcast. Pete, are you going to be able to deal with us?
It's going to be harder now. I'm going to have to really do a lot of meditation before the show. I'm going to have to relax a lot.
Pete, I'm going to tell you this. My daughter asked me, she said, my daughter is a progressive liberal, okay? She gets mad at me all day, every day. So I told her we got a new co-host, and I told her that Angela was 70% Democrat. But we're not seeing that today.
Well, that's why I said
We're
I'm
seeing
independent.
70% Republican today.
Listen, I'm independent. It just depends on the situation or what's going on. Because that's why I voted Democrat, because I couldn't vote for Trump because I just couldn't. I would have, if they all just come to an in-between thing and come together and just, make things right on both sides, and then we'll be good. I think he doesn't do a bad job running the country. It's just
He's arrogant. That's the problem. He's arrogant. And he
Yeah.
says things like me that he shouldn't say.
Well, and he makes fun of people with special needs and stuff like that. And I don't do that. No thanks.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I know. He takes it too far. I agree.
Well, during
way too far.
the Problem Solver podcast, I was asked that by the host, what do I think about Trump and his first term or his first time in the White House here? And I said, if he had more empathy and compassion, I think he would go a lot farther. Because, that's exactly what you're mentioning, Angela. He's not talking about things with empathy and compassion. He's talking about them from a business perspective, because he's such a business guy. So anyway.
I think with Elon Musk, though, being his buddy and stuff, when they had their little breakup, or whatever one wants to say, I call it a breakup. But I think, he almost felt bad for him, because you got to remember, Elon, he's autistic. So I think he was kind of having, in my opinion, kind of a little bit of a episode or a meltdown or whatever you want to call it. His autism got the best of him, when you get kind of, I don't know, too far into a subject, you just get really like revved up, you know, and I think, you know, that's probably what happened. And I think I would say Trump, I think, handled that very well, and his statement was very well handled. And, you know, then you see them afterwards talking and like making up, you know, I don't know if they're back together now. I don't think that they work together, you know, he's not a part of that, but I think they're on like good terms now. And I figured that would happen too. I honestly, because I have my son with autism, and I just, you know, he's 5.5, but I can just see that.
Oh, she was doing so good. Oh, we lost you in that last second.
Yeah.
We lost you, Angela. Sorry
I'm
about
back.
that.
Sorry. No, it's my alarms. I forgot.
Oh.
I thought I got them all and I didn't, but I just, you know, I see a lot of that stuff with my son because he's autistic, ADHD. And when I think of, you know, when I see Elon, I could tell that he's autistic, you know, by the way that he presents himself and how he, you know, he's just a real smart guy too. Like, and I can tell, I think Trump actually did a very good job with handling that situation. I was actually proud of him. So maybe he's going to have some more empathy, I guess, for people with special needs. We'll see. Well, who knows? That would be great though if he did. So Trump, if you're listening, that's what you need to do.
1 second. I want to answer a question on Instagram, guys, because people want to get their questions. So I want to make sure we get them. Why Republicans some make up little bully taunts, making words up to belittle other political parties? Yeah, I guess he's talking about calling them woke and all this other stuff. I agree, but that's on both sides. The Democrats call us a cult. Okay, we call them woke liberals, progressives, whatever.
That's because of the Make America Great Again. There's two different kinds of Republicans.
I agree.
So I don't do like the cult thing. Like, well, Danny's like a rhino. Isn't that what the guy called you?
I'm a rhino.
This guy keeps going off on him. It's so funny.
Yeah, what's rhino again, Danny?
Rhino is a Republican in name only. So I pretend I'm a Republican. I actually had a lady DM me this week. I kid you not. She goes, "What is your political party? I can't figure it out because you jump and you're here and then you're here and then you're here, you're there. What is your political party?" I told her 65% Republican, 35% Democrat.
The percentages change like every week, I think.
It just depends what mood he's in. So yeah, great way to say
like
it.
What Danny are we getting today? Like
Exactly. Someone told me today they couldn't figure me out. Hey, I'm like, you know, what am I? I'm just a human, you know. I'm an American if you have to label me. But I'm not always proud to be an American because sometimes our country disappoints me. So that's what the Minor Details is all about, though. We're talking about these things and we are bringing them to light and making it happen. I want to get to one comment that McBlue said. He mentioned over on YouTube that the best practice is to avoid conflict, talking about Kyle, and Kyle failed that step. So that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
As a law enforcement officer, how many times have you been to the scene of a crime where the criminal decided to try to avoid conflict? Very rarely, probably, right?
Yeah, very, very, very rarely.
I can't think of any examples. So if you're as a person trying your best to avoid it, then that's going to minimize your chances something bad will happen. Now, sometimes when you're a cop, your job is conflict. But I think that's where Kyle went wrong. He tried to take that authoritative role, but he was just a 17-year-old kid. He had some training, but he was not a law enforcement officer.
And you guys
remember, it's 2020, COVID, you know, these cops, they're probably tired, they're exhausted, there's probably not enough of them to go around. So Kyle's like, I'm going to take this in my own hands, literally put it around his arm and just went out there and, you know. But
think of this, guys. Think about when you were 17, how many bad decisions we made. I mean, it was a bad decision. I'm not going to sit here. It was a bad decision. He put himself in that situation. His parents should have stopped him. But we all make bad mistakes, right? And real quick, erase my number. Your answers are respected. Thank you. See, I'm a Republican and they still respect my answers here. The Democrats. See that? Because I'm on both sides. I know it sounds like I'm just Republican, but I think Democrat too.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can at least see the perspectives. Even if we don't agree with it, we can kind of see, you know, we can see what definitely. So now obviously Kyle went on to hang out with Trump and hang out with Tucker Carlson, and you know, he became a big celebrity basically after this. So what do you guys think about that result in terms of do you think that was pre-planned? Do you think Kyle kind of wanted to be like, he was kind of going out there hoping, oh man, I hope I have to use this gun so I can become famous? What do you guys think? Each of you can answer.
Danny, go for it.
Let's look. Angela.
Do you think, you're asking me, do I think he went there to kind of become famous?
Yeah. Do you think that was part of his mentality, or do you think that was even in the back of his mind at all? Do you think that was part of what he was looking for, was like a spotlight on himself?
Boy, that's a good question, Pete. I don't know. I would say that he went there to get some kind of attention, right?
At least the local. He at least wanted attention, I think. But did he also want like media attention? Did he predict that it would get that big? I doubt it. But I'm asserting that I think he wanted a little bit of that attention, a little bit of that fame. What do you think, Angela?
I definitely agree with you on that, because I mean, why else would you walk around with an assault rifle and you're 17 years old, not even old enough to even own a gun or carry a gun, and here you are walking around like a badass? Like, don't get me wrong, you're a baddie. Yeah, let's walk around with this. Like, I'm trying to scare people off, but he knew he was going to use it. It was like loaded. So
let me ask you guys something. I got a good question, and I think riots and protests are going to continue. I think it's going to get worse. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think it's going to get worse. Do you think we're going to see another bad incident like this? I'm going to say yes. I think we're going to see another bad incident. I don't know if you guys know, in Colorado, they were having a protest. A biker group showed up and they kicked the crap out of a guy. I think I sent you both the video.
No,
They kicked the crap out of the guy. So I see it getting worse. I see more incidents happening. I see this country going off in 2025.
You know why? Because Trump keeps pardoning everyone. That's exactly why. 100%. I don't care what anyone says. There's people he should not have pardoned. There's some like, okay, like whatever. Like who pardoned Trump? That's what I want to know. like, I'm sorry. Like, there's people that got away with like some really bad stuff. And I mean, one of them is actually our president, but it's like, why? Like, and, you know, and then there's some people he didn't pardon, which I was surprised, because like, dude, you did way too much stuff on your own. Like, how did you let that guy stay where he is? I don't know. I don't understand his whole like method, but yeah, I said what I said.
Hey, and guys, I want to acknowledge Instagram. Instagram is going off today. Thank you guys for following us. We appreciate it, man. It's going off today. Thank you, guys.
Yes, absolutely. So speaking of Trump, everyone, what do you guys think of Trump hanging out with Kyle? What do you guys think about them getting together?
Well, listen, the Republicans are going to make him their poster child, and they have. I mean, he's on Fox News all the time because listen, the Republican Party is guns first. I'm going to be honest. It's guns first. And why not have the guy that took out 3 bad guys? Do you know what I mean? I always break my mic every show. But why not take 3 bad guys, right?
He breaks everything.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the show, Danny, you called him a hero. I asked you both what you thought about him. Angela, you said kid with a gun.
I mean, I think he was trying to be a hero, and I think he knew that, you know, he was gonna, I don't know, people were gonna look at him as a hero. In my opinion, if he had to use it, people would think that of him.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen and from what I've heard and all the research I've done, it seems like he had good intentions, but he was kind of not the most intelligent in the way he carried it out.
He's 17. He's a kid.
That's what reality is. That's what my perception of it. It's like, okay, he's protecting a business. If that's really his intention, then that is good. However, you know, first of all, he's breaking the law to do it. So, you know, is it right to break the law sometimes to do other right things? Well, the law is still the law, correct? But as Danny said earlier, that's a separate charge. That's a separate case of him having a gun than it is the murder charge, for example.
Yeah.
So
And
what do you guys think in summary?
Go ahead, Angela. You go first. Then I got a question.
I spaced out the ADHD got to me. Hold on. So basically, you're saying that, sum it up real quick.
Yeah, some of what you think about Kyle and the whole case and the whole incident on June 23rd.
God, that's all right. Go ahead.
Sorry, Pete.
If you can. No worries. Do you
All right, I'm going to go.
Danny, give your
So let's real quick, guys. Let's calm down. Let's be able to hear. Where nobody's hearing any of us. Okay, I got a question. So the Biden auto pen pardon was just fine. Got it. So we have a Trumper in Instagram saying we're complaining about Trump pardoning people. What about Biden? Guys, I'm going to go first, then I'm going to let you two. I agree with this guy. I think the pardon on both sides is out of control. I always thought as a kid, when growing up, pardons were for people that were wrongfully accused or were sentenced too harshly. Now we are pardoning friends and family. We're pardoning friends and family.
It's ridiculous. It's gotten way out of control. And I agree with you, Danny. That's what I remember pardoning being, something that was supposed to be done to bring justice to the system, not something to just like show favoritism or nepotism. Oh, hey, you have a lot of money. You have a lot of influence. Oh, you're friends with my friend. Okay, cool. I'll let you out. That's how it's being done right now. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I totally agree. And listen, just so you know, next week,
Yeah, Biden, he pardoned way too many people. So
I agree. Next week, did you notice the ADHD, Pete? She hasn't sit still. She's walking and talking. We got to get her in a chair. We got to get her calmed down.
We're gonna have to wrangle her. We're gonna have to put a lasso around her and rope her in like a boy style.
Yes.
But that's okay. Danny, do you want to give your closing thoughts on Kyle personally? I mean, we know you think he's a hero, but do you want to give us a quick 30 seconds of what you think now that we've talked about it?
Okay, yes. Listen, this is what I think. I think he went there looking for trouble, and he found it. But just because he went there looking for trouble doesn't mean you could murder the kid. You're not there. Nobody, whatever you do, it's not justifiable murder. You can't go murder somebody. And that's what they would have done to this kid. This kid saved his life in self-defense. The jury got it right, but there was two wrongs. There was two wrongs. He was wrong for going there. They were wrong for trying to kill him, and then he took their life. That's what it is. That's exactly what happened.
Wow. Well, Angela, do you want to weigh in on what do you think about Kyle after we've talked about it for a whole episode?
I mean, honestly, I agree with Danny on that. I wish I could say something a lot cooler, but that's all I got. And he hit it, right on the spot. Like he got that target there because I mean, I don't know. They did a good job with everything, with the jury and stuff. And I think that he had the right, to be free and not be found guilty. And I don't know. I just want to mention that this was cutting out for like five minutes.
That's all right. That's all right. We understand you're new to this.
Well, no, I got to turn off all my alarms, my reminders for my ADHD, It's good times, guys.
We have no idea you have ADHD. Your continue walking for an hour would have never told us.
Are you watching my pacing?
Yeah, well, you're walking around for an hour and not sitting down. We'd have never known you had
still.
ADHD.
I can't sit still. I don't know how people do it.
Oh
I'll toss
my God.
I can't do it.
The whole world is watching you right now, Angela. The whole
Whoever knows, I'm a pacer and I go in circles. My mom says I look crazy and I don't give a fuck. So I'll do circles around everyone.
Pete, real quick before we go, I want to thank everybody. We had more live viewers than we ever had, guys. And I watched Instagram, and we were consistent here on YouTube. It was probably Angela. It's the new host. It's probably her. But listen, we'll be better next week. Angela will have a mic next week. She'll have some lighting. But I begged her to come on this week because we promoted her. So thank you, Angela. You still came on. We appreciate you. Pete, we never did this, but we're going to announce this show for next week. The new host wants us to do. Go ahead, Angela.
Luigi Mangione.
All right, we'll do it.
Yes.
All right. And hey, I foresee in the future, Danny and I are going to be investing in a brand new chair for our new guest host because, hey, I'm just getting dizzy watching you spin in circles right now. But but it's been fun.
She walked 7 miles during the podcast. 7 miles. She doesn't have ADHD at all.
No.
I got to get my steps in, okay?
Not at all. I also want to thank our Facebook listeners today. I saw a Facebook comment. If you have $1 million for Trump, you get a pardon. That's funny.
That was a funny one.
Good one.
Hilarious.
Yeah, we are drawing to a close now, so I'll go ahead and start wrapping us up. We want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll give
Yeah, give me a share. That's what Mick
Yes,
said.
thank you all for being here on all platforms. Please like, share, subscribe, leave us reviews as we continue to grow. Angela, you want to say your final farewells, and then we'll let Danny close it out.
I just want to thank everyone for coming on. If you came on to support me or the podcast or everyone, I appreciate all of you. I hope you guys come on every single week because we're a good time and we just say it how it is. And I want to thank you guys for having me on and for allowing me to join the Minor Details.
Listen, I want to thank both of you. I think I got two good hosts. I think bringing Angela on is going to bring a woman's perspective to this. Even though she has ADHD worse than me, we got to get her to sit down. We got to get a mute button. We got to do a bunch of things, but we'll get better at this. Luigi, what's his last name? Mangione?
Well, everyone's going to say it different, like Luigi Mangione or Mangione, however you want to say it.
Okay, the two Italians. And Pete, what are you, Pete?
I've got a little Italian. I'm a mix.
All right, so we give three Italians. Say we're doing the Italian next week. The Luigi Mangione story. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, McBlue and all the fans. Thank you.
Do the cash walk, hey, I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your collar, twist your wrist, do the cash walk. I'm dropping dollars while you're wishing on a scratch off. My hollow mama list, she just hit the jackpot. I'm leaving flaming footprints on the asphalt. Pop your